Lindy, your power play really worked through a lot in the first round against the Bruins. What made the power play so proficient tonight in Game 1 against the Canadiens?
I think we took advantage of some good breaks that made a couple good plays. They had great net front presence on the Byram goal from the point. We outnumbered them down low on the next one where McLeod had a great opportunity. I thought the one entry where we hit Darlene on the kind of the kick out for the breakaway, and he hit a crossbar on the power play. So there was a lot of areas of the power play that were a lot better.
It wasn't just scoring the goal, but was it nice? You know what Jordan Greenway brings to the game. Was it nice to see him get rewarded? He almost scored a couple more times and seemed like he had a lot of good plays in that game. I
thought by far his best game. Great on the walls, really strong on the puck. I thought his physicality good. The goal, great shot through the defenseman. But I think that 10-foot range to the walls and the puck battles, I thought he was excellent.
Lindy, we talked about Bo Byram this morning, and he gets another goal. Just what's allowed him to really elevate this postseason and reach another level after a career regular season?
I think I'll say the same thing I said this morning. He really relishes the opportunity to be, to playing for something big, to win a playoff series, get in another playoff series, and possibly win on a second series. He's trying to make every play count. He's been there before. He's got that taste, and you can see the hunger he has.
Lindy, is Zach Benson that guy that is like the epitome of you want him on your side and not on the other side?
I would think so. If it was on the other side, I wouldn't want to be coaching against him. I thought his effort was tremendous. I know he made a great play on that opening goal, and he was in on drawing that first opportunity on the power play. So he had a heck of a series, and I think when you look at first playoff series, I thought he was very good. I think he got off to a great start in this series now in Game 1, and that line gave us a great night. I thought, his effort on a lot of different plays made a difference in the game.
Lindy, I've got a quick update. I've got another question, but a quick update on Rass. He looked like he limped off and didn't finish the game.
Yeah, I saw him as I was walking here. He seemed to be fine. So I haven't spoken to our medical people yet. So, I may be corrected, but I saw him walking down the hallway. And
what did you like in regards to the carryover from the first round into the start of this game?
I like the quick start we got off to. I know we can be a lot better. I thought some of our puck decisions weren't up to par. You look at, there's a couple of situations in the game that, we gave them a little bit of momentum. I think we hit 4 or 5 crossbars or posts and had a lot of great opportunities. I think the 3-4 days off affected guys different ways. You get a couple good practices. Some, really came out good. I think other guys, in my eyes, were a step behind.
Lindy, you just mentioned the post that you guys hit. What would your evaluation be of the McLeod line tonight?
I thought they did a lot of great things. I thought, you look at some of the opportunities that Quinn had. That line gave us it gave us a good night. I think they could have got rewarded with 2 or 3 goals. The second period, they had one unbelievable shift that didn't turn anything. I thought Quinn probably was in on 3 or 4 opportunities. Not watching the game again, but the eye test for me, I thought it was probably their best game in the playoffs so far.
Curious how you felt the pace and the amount of rush play compared tonight to that last series against Boston.
Yeah, pace was, I think we talked about the pace this morning. The pace was going to be, because they forecheck a lot different than Boston. We really felt the pace was going to be a lot higher, and the pace was higher. If you get caught on the wrong side of the puck in that type of game and in that type of pace, you're going to give something up. And they gave some stuff up, so did we. And I'm pretty sure they want to correct some stuff, and so do we.
Lindy, what has your team's third line done to distinguish itself and make itself valuable in your first 7 playoff games?
How do you know they're our third line? Maybe they're our second. I'll just say this again, that the whole year hasn't been about one line. It hasn't been whether you're the second line or third line. I think, you go back to the road trip on the West Coast and the goals that Carrick and Benson and, Melanstein scored, big goals. I look at, I'll just take Montreal, for example. It was big goals by, that last game wasn't by their big players. And I think that's the strength of a team. It's been the strength of our team all year. We can put numbers on them, 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever, but I think when nights where maybe sometimes your best players are taken care of and they're not having their best night, we've had another line that has picked up the pace, or another line that's been able to pick up the pace for us, and that's what we saw tonight.
Lindy over here. Sorry. So much youth in this series between both teams, but tonight closing them out in the third with the 2-goal lead, you guys have shown a great ability in the last couple of months to close out games despite the youth on your roster. What does that tell you about the maturity and the learning curve here in the second round of the playoffs for your group?
Yeah, I think we've had a lot of training. When you go back to December when we went on that 10-game winning streak, we got a really good feel of what it was like to lead, be in games where it was either tied in the third period or we had a 1-goal lead. And that kind of carried over to January, same thing, where we had a real good month. We didn't, what I would say, give points away, where you're leading or you're tied, and I think there's a point where the other team's going to be real aggressive. We were a team that put too much risk in our game for a long period of time, and I think we've been able to balance that risk where our defense are still involved, but we're not giving up crazy opportunities to allow the other team to get back in it.
Hey, Lindy, further to what you were just saying about, lines 1, 2, 3, 4, how they don't necessarily have a label on your team. Canadiens are coming out of a series where their top line was marked quite heavily by one specific line. You seem to have the luxury to not have to do that. What does that allow you to achieve when you don't have to chase a matchup during a game?
It's comforting when I can say that, I trust every line to play against anybody. And a lot of times our, whatever line you want to call them, will produce. It doesn't matter who they're playing. We're pretty locked into how we need to play. And it is a luxury because, you don't have to look down the other bench and see who's coming and always maybe skip a line. And we get a pretty good rotation going, and a lot of times our minutes are 10-plus minutes for our guys that don't play a lot, and it's around 20 minutes for the guys that do play a lot. And overall, for a team to keep players involved, make them feel like they're part of the team and producing and making a difference. I know that if you get below 10 minutes for some guys, it's hard for them to make a difference, and those guys have been able to make a difference with the ice time.
Lindy, I know with the power play units, what is the unit that's quarterbacked by Bo able to accomplish? I know the goals stand out tonight, but what are they able to do that's different from that first unit with Darlene?
I thought their entries were obviously better tonight, which made a difference. Their net front, with Doan around the front of the net made a difference. You looked at it, we've worked on it for a couple days, and I thought both units looked good, but our entries from our from the Darlene unit to start the game weren't very good, and that has a pretty negative effect.
Lindy, Marty said compared to the Tampa series to this one, he thought his better players had more room to operate tonight, and I was wondering what you thought. Did you feel your guys gave them too much room, or were you satisfied with the way they played them?
It did, and I'll say this again, I think we can be a lot better. That includes taking time and ice away. I thought we did a great job in the Boston series. I thought this game was a little bit of a step back where We gave them too much ice. We didn't confront that first pass. And, the Boston series, it was just bang, bang, bang. We took ice away. We didn't give them any time. We were on top of them. But I'm going to give them some credit. I said before this, they're a good team. They just beat a good team. That top line is, Slafkovsky is one hell of a player. And then you've got a 50-goal scorer on that line at the same time. So maybe they will generate a little bit more.
We'll have Benson and Greenway at the podium next.
Jordan, not only scoring a goal, but did you feel that might have been one of your better games? It just seemed like you were on every battle. You almost scored a couple of more. Just seems like there were other things in the game other than scoring that goal for you. Did you feel that was one of your better games this year?
Yeah, I would say so. I felt good for sure tonight. Bottom line, I try and go out there and bring some energy, create some momentum, create some space. Be hard to play against. And yeah, maybe I did it a little bit better tonight than most nights.
Jordan, was there any specialness to that goal because of the journey that you've had this year with some of your injury struggles and everything else that's gone on? Was there a little bit of extra to it?
It's always great to score. Second round of the playoffs, and I don't know what the score was at that point. It was exciting regardless. It's been a journey, of course, injury-wise, but there's a lot of guys who've gone through injuries, and at this point, it's behind me, and I'm just focused on going out there and doing what I can do to help the team.
Zach, on the takeaway you had where you set up the goal there for Doan, just sort of what did you see on that play to track the puck down and then set him up?
Yeah, I think it was a good D-zone draw. Obviously, it starts with a win back there by Norrie, and then Oper makes a good, smart decision to go up the wall. And obviously, Hudson lost his footing, and obviously saw him fall there, take the puck, and try and make the best play.
Zach, what has your line done to distinguish itself, particularly in these last 7 playoff games?
Yeah, I think just be hard to play against. I think all three of us are tenacious players, all over the ice, all over the puck. So, it gets annoying to play against, and I think we just got to keep doing that.
Zach, a few minutes ago, Lindy was saying how some guys responded to the 4-day break better than others. How excited were you just to get back out there after the way Game 6 ended and having those 4 days off?
Yeah, I think, it's a new round. It's exciting. You get a new opponent, new series. So I think, everyone in our room was fired up, and, I thought we played a good game.
This is for both of you guys. Canadiens are a very different team from the Bruins with the way that they play. Probably some more time and space. What's the adjustment like going from playing that team to playing this team? You had a couple days to prepare, but I'm just curious, what the feeling out process was like, even though you know them fairly well.
Take it away, Benner.
Well, I was thinking you were going to answer. I wasn't really listening.
Yeah, we really focus on doing what we do. Of course, there's adjustments. Boston sits back a little bit. These guys are highly offensive team. So yeah, there's definitely adjustments that are made, but we're pretty focused on what we're doing and just trying to get better at it. Every day, no matter who we're playing. Yeah. So does that answer your question? Yeah.
Jordan, Lindy mentioned right before the playoffs there was a practice. I think you scored 3 or 4 goals or something. Like, did you feel like you were kind of building towards this, this type of output?
I scored 3 goals in practice. That's what you said. That's the craziest thing. Did I see this coming? Not because I scored 3 goals in practice. Some days I have like 8.
I don't know about that.
I was off for some time, obviously, and I figured it'd take a little bit of time to get to where, I want to be. So I'm definitely working towards that. So did I see this coming? I mean, yeah, I thought that I was going to be able to improve my game as, we continue to play more games. But, yeah, maybe it has something to do with the 3 goals in practice.
Zach, it's less than 3 years ago we were in Nashville. You get drafted. You probably don't know much about this place at all. What in the world is this like for you to be in the middle of all this in this town right now?
Yeah, it's truly unbelievable. I mean, this is one of the best hockey cities in the world, obviously, and it's so electric right now, and it's so fun to play in front of our fans every night and play the way we are. So, yeah, that's truly the one word I would use is unbelievable.
Jordan, on your goal, you got Kozak doing that flash screen. There's another time he's laying in the crease, and it just seemed like he's there all night. And I'm sure it didn't surprise you that he's doing that flash screen going by. Does it sometimes amaze you how much he is around the crease and around there?
Yeah, Cozy does a lot of good things. He plays a hard game. There's a lot of things that, truly probably go unrecognized. But, being his line mate, playing with him for as long as I have, he definitely makes the game a little bit easier. And yeah, I think that goal, his role in that goal shows a lot of it. Mal as well. They're both, I know where they're going to be on the ice because they do it consistently, game in, night out. And, just from my, viewpoint, it's very helpful, for sure. My guy.